In Homelink 2-4, students need to, in problem 1, they need to figure out how much of a garden has been planted with certain types of plants. And so one of the ways we can do this is we draw an area model. You could use a number line, but it's a little easier to do with an area model. And forgive the background noise, I'm doing this at recess, and so it's a little loud outside. But on the first one, so it starts out and says 2/3 of a garden is planted with melons. So we do 2/3. And 2/3 of it are planted with melons. So we're going to shade in 2/3. And also my pen decided to stop working today, so I'm using my fingers, so it's going to be a little off, but you should be able to see what's happening. And then out of those melons, then 3/4 of it are planted with marigolds. So now what we do is we are going to go we drew the separation or the divisions vertically, so now we're going to draw them horizontally. And so we're going to divide this into fourths. And we're going to have fourths going horizontally. Now the key here is to make sure you remember that fourths, it's all the way across. So we want 3 out of the 4 rows. So 3 out of the 4 rows, we can shade like this. All right, now, and then it asks what fraction of the garden bed will have both plants growing together. So the fraction that will have both plants growing together, you look at and you say, okay, how many of them were shaded twice? So there's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So in essence, that means there are 12 pieces there, so that's 6/12 have both growing together. So 6/12 or 1/2 of the garden have both of them growing together. Now, if I wanted to write it as a number sentence, so we started out with 2/3. So I'm going to put that second. It doesn't necessarily have to be second, but we did say that we started out with 2/3, and then we want 3/4 out of that 2/3. And so that's going to give us an answer of 6/12. And we can also think of it as 3 times 2 is 6, and then 4 times 3 is 12. So that's the first one. On the second one, it's slightly different because this time 1/5 of the garden bed has a certain amount, and then next year they want 3 times that amount. So because of that, it's going to look slightly different when we do our number model or our area model. We're going to start off with the 1/5. Okay, and then they want 3 times as much, so we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by 3. So we're going to do the same thing 3 times. All right, so that gives us a total of, and as a number sentence, we have 3 1/5, which is going to equal a total of 3/5 of that amount. Lastly, we have the community garden. So we have 5 1/3 pounds, and then they had 2 2/3 times as much this time. So we're going to multiply that. Now there's 2 ways we can multiply this. We can multiply it by using what looks kind of like an area model, but it's not really. It's just a way to kind of separate out each part, which would look like this. Okay, and so we can do 5 1/3. And then on this side, we can do 2 2/3. And then in each box, we multiply. It's kind of like lattice. We multiply the things of the boxes where they match. So 5 times 2, 2 times 1/3, 5 times 2/3, and then 2/3 times 1/3. And then you go through, you multiply all those out, and then add up your results. That's one of the ways you can do that. Or you could also do mixed numbers. So you could take 5 and 1/3 and you change it into, so we'd have 5 and 1/3. And so that would be times 3 plus 1. So that would be 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16 thirds. And then that's going to get multiplied by 2 and 2/3, which if we multiply 2 times 3 and then add 2, so 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So we get 8 thirds. So we multiply that out, 16 times 8 and then 3 times 3. So we're going to get 9, and then 16 times 8, 48, carry your 4, 128. So we get 128. And then when we simplify that, how many 9s go in 128? It's going to be 14. And then there are 2 9ths left over. Hope it helps.